Welcome. In this video we're going to introduce another variant on the basic idea of association. In this case one which is useful when you want to be able to associate data with individual links of an association. So what we've got here is an association is taking between class student and class course. So this has the obvious meaning: if we have an individual student object and an individual course object, it makes sense to ask, is this student taking this course, yes or no? And that tells you whether or not this particular student object is linked by the is-taking association to this particular course object. Once we've got that, the next thing we're likely to want to be able to do is to record relevant data along with that link. So we might want to be able to record the date on which this particular student took this particular course. We might want to be able to record the mark that this particular student got on this particular course. And you can see that that data doesn't really naturally belong either with student or with course. If we put it in student, we're going to have to use a suitable data structure to avoid confusing the mark that this student gets on various different courses that they take. If we put it in course, we're going to have a data structure to avoid confusing the marks that different students get on this course. It's conceptually more natural to say this data really is associated with the association itself. It's data that goes on with an individual link. And in UML we have a concept of association class to represent that. And this lets us, for example, not make premature decisions about how we're going to implement this notion. And what we do is we do it like this. We have a dashed line to a thing that looks like a class, because it is a class, and it's going to have the capitalized name of the association. So is taking in this case. It's going to look just like a class, but it's attached by that dashed line to the line which is the association. And what you should think, the way you should think of it is, the association line and the class and the dashed line are all parts of the representation of a single model element in the UML diagram. So this is how you represent an association class. How you actually implement it is another matter, of course, and you might want to think through quite carefully what your options are for implementing the situation in Java. You might even want to try typing it out. You can do it by putting the data in the student class or by putting the data in the course class. Sometimes you will actually want to create another class, which you might indeed call is taking, in which case you should then think about what the associations are between all three of those classes.